Hi, Will.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm in.
You're in. I think we're live already, Will. Carl's just rebooted the computer, so he should join us shortly. You're right.
Yeah, it's like a really exclusive party, isn't it? Just
Absolutely.
I
It is
felt,
Friday.
yeah, I felt like I was back in the 80s getting turned away by doormen.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as I say, we're live at the moment. I think, as I say, there was some issues with the server, so hopefully
Okay,
Carl will be joining us shortly.
so do not swear.
Do not swear, do not
Was that
spit, do
your
not bite.
live in the Big Brother house?
Oh, oh gosh, can you actually imagine?
So how are you? You all right?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Yes, I can't believe that it's Friday again, but yes, all is good, thank you. All
It
is
feels a bit
good.
like Thursday and Wednesday and Tuesday.
Absolutely. I think one of the kids earlier sort of challenged me. It's not Friday. And you know when you go, it is it?
Yeah, it
Oh, hello.
is.
Hey,
You're on air as well.
we are on air.
You're live.
So I look late.
Absolutely. We've been waiting ages. Right.
Fine.
Beans,
Fine.
we are live,
Yeah.
guys. I'm gonna jump straight in if that's okay.
Of course.
Fantastic. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this evening's bite-sized webinar, where we'll be discussing back to work. My name is Kate, and I work alongside Carl Horton. And we are joined tonight by Will Murphy and Carl Horton. We've planned to catch up, guys, obviously with it being return to work. So how has it gone? Has there been any problems?
Go on, Will.
Do you know what? It was remarkably easy. I mean, I haven't got fully submerged in AGPs, as it were, but it was really starting back. I work in a specialist centre doing implants in Hertfordshire, so that was my first real foray back into it. And then the last couple of days, I've been in the practice in Birmingham City Centre. Again, just sort of treating some emergencies. Nothing too radical at the moment, but yeah, all sort of fairly relaxed from my side of things.
Good.
Have you been in, Carl?
No, well, yes and no. Not to treat anybody.
Yeah.
Had the fit test.
Right. Okay.
Which was delightful.
You sure that's what you said?
Sorry?
Are you sure that's what you said when you had it done?
Did you have somebody doing this to you?
Yeah, I did. I had the thing that was sort of interesting for me is I went for a few things have happened to me, not necessarily related to coming back to work, but I had a test to see whether I've had COVID or not. They're doing a research at Birmingham Dental Hospital.
Yeah. So
I was pretty ill, as you guys know, over the holiday period. It's not a holiday period, is it? So I got quite
What's
poorly.
for you?
Yeah. Another cuppa, please. Yeah. I got quite poorly, and they're doing this research, so I went to get myself tested to see whether or not that's going to come back positive. So they've taken some blood, which I hate doing. I hate needles. So sweaty hands, and then they made me spit into a little test tube, which, because I hate the fact that needles scare the living daylights out of me, at least getting them jabbed into me, I couldn't produce any saliva. If they'd have scraped the sweat off my hands, would have been fine. So that takes a week or 2 weeks to get that back, to find out. And then the other thing was the fit test, which was, because you've done it, but that was an interesting experience. But I was curious as to whether or not I'd got my taste back, because I lost my sense of taste and I lost my sense of smell for quite a long time. And I still don't think it's quite right, because my young son doesn't seem to shower or bath much at the moment, and yet I can't smell him. But I'm sure that there's, like, you remember the cartoon Linus at Charlie, whatever his name was? Brown. Yeah, Charlie Brown. I'm sure, like, he's got little flies around him and stuff like that.
Oh.
And it's gone feral. It's gone feral.
What what was your reception like from the patients that you saw? Were they nervous? Not particularly because of the dental anxiety, but were they nervous with coming into the practice?
Do you know what? Not really. And one of the things that I thought we'd probably cover is patient behaviour. So it's a bit like when we first started going into shops, really, you know, or walking down the street. You know, now it's almost second nature to do the dance, isn't it? You know, when somebody's coming towards you, ooh, do I step out on the road? Do you step out on the road? Or do we just turn sideways? You know, that kind of thing. So, you know, they sort of come in through the door. Some people are very good, you know, they'll stand on the X and they'll spot their hand sanitizer and put the mask on, you know, it's almost automatic. Other people are sticking their head around the side of the partition, you know, and, you know, so they can get a better look at you and breathe over you. So, you know, there'll be a sort of mixture of patient behaviours that I think we have to, you know, modify.
Yeah, I'm sure it's new to them as much as it is to us having the partitions and everything. It is new to them, isn't it?
Yeah, everything felt, you know, it sort of all feels a little bit clunky. You know, you know yourself, you're kind of like, hang on, right, now I have to put this on, put that on.
Yeah.
Who's touching a door? Who's letting them in? You know, do we stop them touching the door on the way out? You know, so I think, like we said before in our previous cast, that you know, everybody's got to try not to worry about it and have a few run throughs and take your time. It'll all, you know, it'll all iron itself out and become second nature. You know, but for now, everything feels, you know, a little bit clunky.
Yeah, of course.
Can they use the toilets?
My view on it is that we put a toilet closed sign on it, but if somebody literally is going to wet themselves in the reception, then perhaps you could give special dispensation.
Yeah. And have you had, sorry, Kate.
Go on, no, carry on.
Yeah, did you have many people that needed to come and see you emergency wise, or?
Yesterday it was almost like a couple of crown re-cements. So again, you know, we're all trying to be as inventive as possible for not using any form of AGP, aren't we? So it was just re-cementing crowns, really. So these were just implant crowns that I was putting back on with a bit of temp bond. So that was all pretty straightforward. And I had somebody today with some pretty severe pathology around a couple of teeth, not causing any sort of facial abscesses, but more sort of lateral perio kind of stuff that needed a little bit of debriding. So again, I was just managing that with a bit of local anaesthetic and a bit of curettage, really, just to see them through until we can rebook them and take those teeth out and follow our usual sort of implant pathway.
Yeah. Have you got screens up on the reception? Are your receptionists wearing type 2R masks or?
No, we've got screens up.
Yeah.
So I've left it up to the individual when they come in to decide which sort of mask. So we had a sort of team Zoom meeting, as well yesterday, and I just said, look, it's up to you. If you want to put that mask on, fine. If you don't, that's fine as well, really.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, you know, the minute we start doing procedures, then it's going to be, you know, full PPE and, you know, following all those guidelines. But I think for somebody out on reception, you know, you've got to decide what makes you happy, really.
Yeah. Interesting.
Absolutely.
That's the right way to be.
Yeah, but I think it will be patient behaviour, really. You know, everybody getting used to. It's such a cliche, isn't it? The new normal, as it were. You know, in every aspect of life. Yeah. And then the other question is, how long is that going to go on for? Which I guess, you know, we don't have an answer for.
No.
But my feeling is all these sorts of fallow periods and things are going to change. I would have thought.
Sorry, Kate.
Carry on.
Are you doing like, how long's your fallow period in between non-AGP? How long are you doing, or you're not doing one?
I'm not going to have a set fallow period. I know we on the previous webinar talked about 20 minutes, but like you and I were saying, that just seems to be another number that's plucked out of mid-air, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does that mean that everybody should leave a supermarket for 20 minutes after they've just walked around? I mean, how are you going to get your Paraguay from Waitrose, Carl? It's.
I've seen a couple of guys. Again, it's the two guys that we referenced, Dominic O'Hooley and Ross Hobson, had brought these little particle detectors, and Chris Tavares as well, who was on one of our webinars, and he's brought one, and they've been using it in the surgery to see how much particle is in the air, and I think they're going to use it when they're drilling and near their faces, just to see what the actual particle difference is between the surgery and in reception, to get some idea of whether or not these aerosols are really actually being emitted in any.
Mate, you're going to have to enlighten me on what this particle detector is.
Basically, it's measuring the. I suppose what it's doing is it's measuring the number of particles that are in the air. So
of anything in particular, or just stuff?
Stuff.
Is the scientific term that
I was going to say, is that technical?
Yeah. She's scientist.
So really an aerosol. How dirty the air is, I guess, how clean and how dirty it is. God. So I think Chris said that he took it outside and it was kind of, below, they've got danger levels, I guess, or pollutant levels. And he stuck it near the car exhaust and went nuts because he didn't think it was working.
Right, okay.
And he had it in the surgery and it was just ticking along quite nicely. And I think he was doing some AGP. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember, but it wasn't even registering. So he's tried it next to his mask just to see how much aerosol is actually coming up. And I think, bearing in mind, you can't go on this, but he was saying it was nothing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of slightly reassuring in a very non-scientific way.
Yeah.
As we're all doing at the moment, it's a guessing game, but it's just playing safe, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, talking about going around the shops, I probably don't know whether we should talk about this because we are going to send this out, aren't we?
Yes.
I've told you this story, but when I was doing my social distancing in Waitrose, as you said to everybody, Sainsbury's, and it was when we were all short of everything that you thought you needed. So I was looking for the hand sanitizer because Kelly was going crazy that we hadn't got any hand sanitizer in the house. I'd forgotten that I'd actually got a big bottle of alcohol that I use for the 3D printer, like about 4 liters of the stuff. I'd forgotten all about that. It's hiding in the corner somewhere, so it shows how much I use that thing. But anyway, forget that. I was looking for this hand sanitizer, and I'm watching this couple mulling around the hand sanitizer for ages, and they're taking ages to. And I'm thinking, come on! I don't want to get any closer than the 2 meter rule, but they are taking ages. And I probably need glasses because when they've moved off and I walked over to the hand sanitizer, I realised they were looking at Durex Play. I went, oh, all right, that's all right,
And then quickly moved away again.
Yeah. I felt quite embarrassed, if I'm honest.
Did you get the hand sanitizer?
Well, it resembled hand sanitizer.
I was going to accuse you of being one of the people who was hoarding all the hand sanitizer and the loo rolls when.
No, they didn't have any because I was all kicked off. I just thought it just looked like it from a distance. So no, I didn't. And then there was no toilet roll either, or cereal, or chocolate, or anything else.
Any shopping in the shop at all?
No, it was pretty empty. Sorry. Anyway, I'm digressing from what we're supposed to be.
So how long do you guys think? I mean, I would imagine it is going to be down to being sensible, A, B, different practices. So with the fallow times and everything else, so, staff going behind the patients, cleaning the doorknobs, maybe the handles, all of that kind of thing. How long do you think that will be before that starts to wean off? Do you think? Do you think people will follow these processes for a long, long time, or?
I think it's going to depend. I think we're always a bit influenced by the media, aren't we? And also in the digital age, news and information moves around very, very quickly. So I think again, in the absence of science, sometimes you go for the, a sort of overall consensus, however you can get that. So I think maybe through sort of media outlets, news, we'll be looking at things like R rates within society. Again, as tragic as it is, number of deaths coming down, and until I guess maybe we feel as though we're getting closer to a New Zealand situation where I think they've recorded zero, haven't they? Really? Yeah. So I think it's going to be very reactive. Mm-hmm. To not answer the question at all, but by and large, we are going to be saying, are there hotspots coming up? Are we hearing chatter within the dental world about COVID popping up, or dentists coming down or staff coming down with it? And I suspect if we're not hearing any of that sort of stuff, things will gradually start to relax.
Yeah. Have you experienced, is this your first week back? It is, isn't it, Will? Isn't
Yeah.
Have you experienced any problems with your stock, with your PPE?
We're still waiting for the higher levels, the FP2s and 3s to come in. So they're due in next week, hence doing non-AGP stuff. And I think my position as well, personally, with the non-AGP is I'm happy with a surgical mask, because the actual exposure time with the patient has been pretty limited. It's probably been less than 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. We've done our sort of triaging. I think, like we've discussed before, we're by and large risk assessing our patients before they come in, and taking all the mitigation steps. And I think realistically, we're treating well and healthy patients. So for me at the moment, that's fine. When all the masks arrive, we've got some more get-togethers with our staff. So, we're going to have another Zoom meeting on Monday, and then we're going to be having some run-throughs during the week. So it's really going to be a stage dress rehearsal, if you like, with one of us being at the door, coming through, everybody having a little go of sending patients through, standing on the marks, taking the temperature. Yeah. All that sort of stuff, just sort of ironing out any kinks so that everybody is comfortable with it.
And I think that's what it is. I mean, it was echoing what we've been discussing on other webinars. It becomes second nature for all of us to do what we've been doing for absolute years. But now we've just got to retrain ourselves during this time to do something different. So just doing the role play and everything, instilling that confidence in your team. They're still the same team. They can do it, but it's relearning habits, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely, for us, and like I said, and for the patients as well.
Yeah.
So they certainly for the time being, they're not going to be just barging off the street into busy waiting rooms and trying to find a seat and pick up the paper and shuffling around, coughing and spluttering. It's going to be a slightly isolated environment, isn't it? Really.
Very much so.
And again, getting all your little videos or your photographs and messaging them out to the patients before they arrive, I think is pretty good. I mean, clearly there's some epic productions that I'm seeing on Facebook of practices, everybody doing their role play and running through the whole thing. But it's good, it's useful. It's making the most of the digital world for the patients to understand what's going on and like I said, how they should behave.
Do you know what? And I think that's a key point, really, Will, because it isn't just retraining the teams in the practices, that the patients have got to understand now that it isn't a case that they just walk in off the street if they've got toothache, even if they're registered with you. They've got to understand that there's a different process at the moment. So, everyone's got to retrain.
Yeah, I think as dentists as well, we've missed a trick, and we've been really behind the times when it comes to using videos and things like that. Because a friend of, oddly enough, I don't have many friends that are dentists. Will, you're the only one.
I'm honoured. Thank you very much.
But he was telling me, and he was asking me why I didn't do it, because we were talking about some dental thing, and he said, do you have a video on that? I said, no. He said, well, I remember when I went to get my knee sorted out, and I went in and they taught me through it, and they said, here, I'll take this home. And they gave him a video cassette. These were things, for those that are listening that might not know what they are. They were like a little plastic box that you put in a machine underneath your TV, and then you press play, and it actually showed you a video on the TV screen. You might not know what TV is these days. But it showed in the procedure of what he was potentially having done. And he couldn't understand that we didn't do that. And this was back in the 80s. And he was gobsmacked that we didn't do that for our patients.
This is a sign of the times, isn't it? Because we've all now got the attention spans of goldfish, haven't we? From you know, we don't read things anymore. We expect to see things kind of like put in front of us.
We do. We do.
We're as bad as our kids, aren't we? You know. So remember books. You know, I used to say to my children as I put them in front of them,
turn the pages.
Yes, turn the page. Please read it. Very good.
Not swipe.
Yeah, I know. So there you go. For us dinosaurs, you know, we've got to get a bit more with it, haven't we?
So has anybody been shielding at your place, or are they all okay staff wise?
No, everybody's okay. One of the staff we're going to keep away for medical reasons. I'm
glad you confirmed it was for medical reasons.
For medical reasons, yes. So you know, we've just got to sort of be sensible, really. You know, everybody else, touch wood, has been okay and haven't had any problems. So I don't know if you've heard much about.
I've heard
an
interesting story, which a bit disappointed about, if I'm honest. And it comes down to the importance of triaging, and they do have a triaging process, and I think it's important that is undertaken, because that's the key. It's the key is not the PPE so much. It is, obviously. I'm not making any sort of saying it's not important. It is important. It's an important stage. But I think the key thing is making sure that these patients that are potentially infective aren't coming through the door. And the story that I was told was that this person is in healthcare, not a dentist, is in healthcare. And they came into the practice and they were treated. And as they were leaving, they said, well, I've had a bit of a cough. And my friends they recently got back from Italy, although they isolated, but they've developed a cough. And I was, talking to them. You're thinking, that's a little bit disappointing that wasn't informed when it's been triaged. So it made me wonder whether it's the triaging process and we have to be really robust with that, and how far do we go with it? And are we asking further questions? So I don't know where that fell down, but I was a little bit surprised that somebody in the healthcare profession thought that it was okay to attend the practice with a potential cough and potentially being infective. The good news is that from what we're seeing in the research, is that if you're not coughing and spluttering, you're probably not shedding the disease too much. Not that that's any benefit.
That's reassuring.
But, and I'm not making light of it, but I was quite disappointed that that had happened. And if that can happen with the medical profession, that can happen with certainly people that are not medically qualified. It just goes to show that. So I think that the message that I got from that is you've got to be absolutely, utterly robust with your triaging, and you've got to hope the patient's going to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's down to, isn't it?
And I'm not trying to scare people. I mean, the thing that we're doing then is we're doing exactly what you've said, and you've got your masks on and you've got your PPE on. So that's protecting you from those potential patients that either don't know that they've got it or are not being honest. And I hope there's not many of those patients around. I'm sure there aren't.
I think the staff have to feel comfortable.
Exactly that.
That if they believe that person is unwell, then they've got to be comfortable to send them away.
Yeah.
And it is that saying, better safe than sorry. It's an old-fashioned saying, but everyone would reap the benefit from it. So
100%.
I do agree.
Absolutely.
I do agree. Well, guys, we're hitting the 25-minute marker. So this was going to be a bite size. If there's anything else that you guys want to bring up.
It's flown by.
No, Carl? Okay.
Yeah.
We tried to keep Carl out.
Sorry. Got in. We've me
Told
way
you,
in.
Will, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Or was it higher powers? Was it the CDO, in conjunction with Huawei trying to, cut off you? And I've tried to do a bit of stealth marketing as well, because I keep seeing this Horton in the background, and look, I've got my but I need to get it done in reverse, don't I? So
Brilliant.
No, that's
Brilliant,
normal.
Will.
That's normal. It looks
No,
reversed.
that's just what I'm seeing.
But it's normal.
That
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Excellent.
That is brilliant.
Like nobody will notice, just quietly.
You've got
Do you know
nothing in there really, Will.
It's the absinthe again.
I've got a cup which, anyway, when you drink it, on the bottom, it says "I'm a," like this. And I'd totally forgotten about this mug. My brother brought it for me. He's a lovely chap. And Seb was christened. The vicar came around the house, and I gave it to my friend she is quite religious, and I didn't realise I'd given her the cup. So she's chatting away to him, drinking out of this cup, and then she found out, realised, and she wasn't very happy with me. In fact, he's left now. He's retired, but he's a fantastic individual. He started playing blues on the piano, and telling us that he used to work in a prostitute's house before he went into the church.
It makes it sound so boring, doesn't it?
Absolutely amazing individual. Absolutely amazing individual.
Oh my God. Moving swiftly on.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on that note.
This could be a different kind of webinar, if not.
Yeah, we might be here for a long time. I've got lots of these stupid stories.
We're planning to do these. We're planning to do these every week. So I hope when we return next week, I really hope that you're still going to be reporting the same, Will, that it's gone smoother and the processes and it's all stronger, and I'm confident that it will do. We'll be discussing different things, mainly how our week's gone, but we will bring in some different folk and we will bring in some different subjects from time to time. So, gentlemen, thank you very much yet again.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody. Have a lovely weekend.
Yeah, and you guys. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.